Let's go now to the patent professor, adjunct professor of patent law at Nova Southeastern Law School in Florida, author of a couple of books on patents. We're talking copyrights and stuff like that. He goes as the patent professor and a friend of the show. His name is John Rizvi. John, it's great to have you back here once again.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.
So, here we go. Mickey Mouse, the copyright, expires in 2024. I can't imagine Disney is allowing this to happen.
Yeah, well, they certainly put up a fight over the years because the copyright term originally at one time was 28 years, and then they lobbied for expansion. Over the years, it became 50, then 70, and currently is 95. But I think this time they're at the end of their rope. There's nothing really that can be done. And in a little less than 2 months, the copyright on Mickey Mouse, as you said, is expiring.
Now, is this the Mickey Mouse, or is this the original, like the Steamboat Willie, or are there two different things, or is this the Mickey Mouse?
Well, there's two different copyrights. They're extremely similar, and both are expiring. The second one is we have about a dozen more years, but that one's expiring on January 1st, 2036. So we have some more time on that one. This is the Steamboat Willie version of Mickey Mouse, and those that follow will, as far as the differences, this one doesn't have the white gloves or the red shorts. It's a black and white Steamboat Willie version of Mickey Mouse, but you know, it's still for a lot of people, it's an iconic copyright. It's just as memorable as the current version. And the time, you know, the clock is ticking. It's not like a dozen years is not that long for Disney to lose copyrights on all versions of Mickey Mouse.
Now, can't they just write a check and buy more copyright time? I don't know how this works. We own it. Here's the check to whomever.
Yeah, no, unfortunately that they can't do that. There's some now trademarks, which is branding. You can renew a trademark indefinitely. You have to do it the first time after 5 years, and after that once every 10 years. So they are going to keep the trademarks. I would think they are not going to let those expire. So as far as someone using the image of the Steamboat Willie Mickey Mouse, they're not going to be able to use the branding Mickey Mouse to try to confuse consumers. But the thing is, this is such an iconic figure. You don't need to actually label him as Mickey in order for people to figure out who it is. So I don't think the trademark is certainly going to help Disney in terms of preventing, products being sold with Mickey on it, but with the words Mickey or the brand. But that's the problem, is that the image is the cartoon figure is so well known, you don't need to label it as Mickey in order to get sales.
What kind of scratch is Walt Disney looking at losing? Because, I mean, if you want to use that up until then, you've always had to pay licensing fees, right? And so aren't they they're going to lose a ton of money on Steamboat Willie.
Yeah, well,
or no?
As far as perhaps not. It really depends on how strong they're able to maintain the trademark licensing for that name. But certainly they are. There's no way that they're not going to lose some revenue. It's hard to speculate how much that's going to be. But the bigger concern for a lot of people is not just the loss of revenue, but loss of control over what the character does. And we've seen that in another expired copyright on Winnie the Pooh. I mean, certainly with Halloween yesterday, you can imagine the remake of Winnie the Pooh in the movie Blood and Honey.
Yeah.
That's traumatizing for a lot of people. So there's a financial losses to Disney over the loss of Steamboat Willie. But what about, which ultimately may lead to financial losses, what about the image of Mickey Mouse being tarnished? Because now there's no restriction on what somebody can do with that image of the original Steamboat Willie, at least the original version, and after another dozen years, no limitation at all on Mickey Mouse, the current version.
Man.
So, and this is not something that's limited to. This is somewhat surprising for a lot of people because Winnie the Pooh and Mickey Mouse are the first really iconic figures to expire. But we have copyrights on Bugs Bunny, Bambi, Peter Pan, Batman, Superman. In the next few years, they are all going to become part of the public domain and expire. So this, as far as new versions and companies losing control of their copyrighted iconic figures, that's something that's going to become more and more common.
Think about that. And Steamboat Willie, Death on the River, Steamboat Killy, or something. I mean, who knows what we're going to have? Peter Pan going, crazy with man. And the Peter Pan peanut butter. Now, right now, I would think they'd have to pay, have always had to pay, haven't they, to have Peter Pan peanut butter, or no?
Yeah, well, yeah, and that's for trademarks. So to the extent that the trademark rights are renewed, they would not be able to use the name Peter Pan. But that's the thing. These are characters that the name is not. You don't necessarily need to see them labeled as Winnie the Pooh or Peter Pan or Bugs Bunny to recognize them. So the trademark is going to offer some limited protection, but it's not going to prevent someone from using the character and, as you said, turn it into a horror film or who knows, like even go in the X-rated genre with
no,
characters.
please.
There's no limitation.
No. Oh, my God. So the porn industry could take, say, Winnie the Pooh. Maybe already has. I don't know. Winnie the Pooh, Steamboat Willie. Okay, I'm sorry to laugh. But suddenly I've got some titles in my head I can't share with people right now. All of this is possible, though, isn't it, John?
It is. There's and that's what's troubling. I mean, the Winnie the Pooh with the blood and honey movie. I mean, it's turning the Winnie the Pooh into a bloodthirsty feral animal, turning against his friends. Like that's disturbing, and certainly this was one instance. But how much more disturbing could these movies get? I mean, certainly we can imagine even worse. So that's what remains to be seen.
Is Donald Duck kind of there? Well, they all came about at a different time, so I don't think they all come about at the same time. So it kind of goes trickle down. Donald Duck's got to be on the radar, I would suppose, in a few years. I don't know.
I don't remember the date, but this is something that is inevitable for every character. So it's just we're seeing the beginning of a trend, and who knows? I mean, perhaps. Like the Blood and Honey did pretty well. Maybe the novelty of an original character going rogue and turning horror, like maybe that's what helps boost sales. But perhaps the public will tire of these remakes after after a few more, right? And then it's not going to be as big of a deal. But certainly a huge harm potentially for the image of Disney, a huge risk. That ultimately may hurt their finances as well.
Don't underestimate the public out there. We're a sick people, John. We'll go for it. Yeah. Scooby-Doo, I don't know. Donald Duck, maybe they're all on the steamboat with Steamboat Killy. All right. John Rizvi, he is the patent professor. Always interesting to talk to you. Where do we find your books there, John?
Yeah, so everything's on Amazon, so you can just do a search for John Rizvi, or The Patent Professor is our website, thepatentprofessor.com. And if you search for The Patent Professor, you'll find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, everywhere. So that's our handle.
All right. The Patent Professor. You're always fun to talk to, though. I appreciate it. And hey, welcome to November. And I know you're in Florida, though. You guys, what do you got, about 70 degrees?
Yes. So we're lucky weather-wise, but of course there's the downside to that is that we're still in hurricane season until the end of November. So keep your fingers crossed for us. So far, we've had a relatively mild season with no real scares, but we've still got another month to go.
John, we have snow on the ground today, okay? Don't give me that. Don't give me that. Oh, feel bad for it. We have snow on the ground, mister. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, have a marvelous day.
Right?
Yeah, I know. I'm
Right,
feeling goofy. All right. Have a great day. See you, John.